Let's start that over. I can't really if you're listening to this on YouTube, though, because it's live. Hey, everybody. Thanks for downloading the show. With me right now, right off the bat, is my good friend Kenny Bolin. We've been talking about making an announcement for, I don't know, 3 months now. Feels like about 3 years.
And just 3 months.
I think everybody's sick of me talking about it.
Maybe it has been 3 months. It's been a while.
A long time. So we're going to make that announcement today. I think Kenny has already forgotten that he has announced that I will be the co-host of the Bolin Alley. The dogs are very excited about it.
Dogs have not heard the news yet. You have ruined it for the dogs. They did not know. They're so happy. They like you. Hey, crying out loud. Two Cow doesn't seem to care. He's in his chair. He doesn't give a shit. And let me see if I can pan the camera over to Two Cow. Do we see him? There he is.
Yeah, now he's excited.
He don't give a shit. We're back. And well, look who said, well, come on in. You might as well join us. Might as well join us.
Is that a camera and a Marshall resident?
That's a camera and a Marshall resident.
That's me.
Walked in as the show started. Jason announced he was going to be the new host. And I'll be damned if the dogs didn't get horribly excited. So,
hello. I'm sorry, the dogs are like jumping.
So
over.
they were either happy to see you or good.
Where is I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. Where's the, I don't know what you call it, the car broom?
The what?
The broom you use on the car? I don't know what it's called. The
windshield.
The shovel broom combination for the car shovel broom.
Should be over there against that wall somewhere. Look on the left side of the left seat.
I found it, all right.
Do you see it?
Yes. Oh, God.
Why is it snowing again?
No, it's not snowing right now, but I have about 2 weeks of snow to take off my car.
Oh, the red one or the other? What?
I want to drive it around for a minute, make sure it's okay.
Oh, you're gonna drive it around?
Yeah, sure.
Snow and icy roads.
Wow, that's a nice house. When am I invited?
What's that? I'm sorry.
It was a PG show until Maya showed up.
What'd she say?
Grab the broom. I'll be back.
Okay, yeah. See if you can find the broom. I think it's on the left side over there. You knew she's walking in the minute we started the show. You knew it was happening.
Well, we got 2 viewers. I want to say hi to them.
All right, now y'all coming back in a little bit, or where are y'all going?
We'll never know.
Well, Chris is due at work at midnight, so maybe that's what they're doing. So who knows? All right. So, well, as we were saying,
I don't even remember where we were.
We started the show and then Maya walked in. So, dogs got excited.
The dogs were very excited to find out I'm the new co-host for the Bolin Alley.
Do you find one thing that you had to, after 3 months, had to make your own announcement that you were going to be the new co-host of the Bolin Alley?
Well, I don't think
the dogs are crying about it. They're going, no, we want one of those other jackasses that Daddy fires every 2 shows.
You announced it live on Facebook.
Did I?
Yeah, I don't think you remember, but yeah, because a bunch of people said congratulations, and I got friend requests, and
I know word leaked out about it that actually I do recall 2 or 3 people being happy about it. Yeah. I think they were all in your household now that I think about it.
And they were all my kids.
All your kids, they were all happy. Yeah, I do remember something. A lot has happened since then.
Yeah.
We've had the breakup of Bolin and Cornette. We've had the death of my mother. We've had the reconciliation of Kenny and Jimmy. News to you, you don't know this yet. The breakup of Jimmy and Kenny yesterday. It's over.
And there was a brief split between you and Russo because we didn't know where the show was going to end up, and that's why we're making the announcement today.
I kind of thought that we might be done because the word had come up. As a matter of fact, I confront Russo on this towards the end of a bucket full of chicken necks, which airs tomorrow. Friday. I don't know when this one airs, but Bucket Full of Chicken Necks airs Friday. And I'll let Russo know that, hey, I thought I was fired. I thought I'd been canceled, so to say. So first thing I know that tune in for the season finale of the Bolin Alley, which I'm the main guy in the Bolin Alley, and I didn't know it was the season finale. And I also didn't realize I was going to have a new host. But Apparently, there were some concerns about all the beef between me and Vito. And of course, there are 3 New Yorkers. I'm a Southerner. So it looked like the 3 New Yorkers were about sick of my act, regardless. And then all of a sudden, the ratings came in from Podcast One. And then all of a sudden, hey, maybe we shouldn't be in such a big hurry to get rid of Mr. Bolin. Maybe Mr. Bolin's an asset to the network, but he had already stepped down. And I had already pretty much made it clear that I would have a new co-host, which basically it was down to you and 2 others. And the other 2 turned it down. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would believe that.
They're both in the wings waiting for you to screw up.
They just need about 2 or 3 more weeks.
Yeah, normally, well, Jeff Lane, we did a lot of shows, but I don't think he really lasted that long. And he actually walked away from this one. Now, his excuse is that he said that his workload was too big. And I'm sure it is because he does 6 shows a week with Russo alone. And then maybe various other shows that they're doing there as well. So his workload was a little thick, but you get to the point, what's one more show? But he made the choice to walk away, claimed it wasn't anything personal, but it was also, he walked away right after I'd ripped him pretty good over politics. He said that I was losing half the fan base by talking about Donald Trump. I said, well, if that's the case, CBS wouldn't have the Colbert Show. I didn't tell him this on the air. It just kind of made sense after the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That if that is the case, that networks and podcasts and various others should shy away from politics, then CBS would not have the Stephen Colbert Show. NBC would not have the Seth Meyers Show. CBS would not have the who's the heavyset guy from England that does a show after Colbert?
James Gordon, I think.
James Gordon, the karaoke guy. Jimmy Kimmel would not be on ABC, and I'm sure I'm leaving some people. Chelsea Handler rips Trump like worse than probably all the others combined. So if saying something negative about Donald Trump cost you half your audience, then I'm following right along the lines of NBC, ABC, CBS, and TBS, because Conan O'Brien's not too nice to him either. So I will follow the guidelines of what major networks do, and I'll trust that my judgment is probably the correct judgment, because half the people don't love Trump. It's about 24% of registered voters actually voted for Trump. The problem is that a tremendous amount of Democrats and independents stayed home because they felt there was not a chance in hell that Trump was going to win no matter what he did. And that was when the grabbing pussy thing came out with Billy Bush. Ironic, his name's Bush, I guess. But that came out. And then once that came out, there isn't a fool on this planet thought Trump was going to be elected president. Because if you have a sister, a mother, a daughter, an aunt, a cousin, that you think anything of at all, you would think, well, I don't think I want this man president because he thinks it's okay to grab the pussy of said relative. So I figured that would have been the doom. If I'd said it, you had said it, anyone else said it, Obama, if even Obama says it, he's done. He's not going to be elected president. You cannot say that, have it recorded, and have everybody know it's you and still be elected president of the United States. But this fool did, and what I forgot and what a lot of us didn't calculate is that there's a lot of uneducated people in the world that somehow gain access to a voting booth. And then you appeal to white nationalists, the KKK, who come out and spoke highly of Mr. Trump, womanizers, wife beaters, the uneducated. I think I might have mentioned 120 counties out of 120 counties in West Virginia all voted for Trump. In the state of Kentucky, we're not quite as stupid as West Virginia, because only 66% of the counties in Kentucky voted for Trump. So we're not quite as stupid as they are, but we're giving them a run for their money. And if you look at the maps, it's always the rural fucked up areas that all voted for Trump for the most part. When you get into the inner city, like Washington, the Washington, D.C., 92% voted for Trump. I don't know who the other 8% are, but 92% of Washington, D.C. voted for Trump. And always in the inner cities where the educations are and the universities are, those are the cities that vote Democrat. It's the uneducated areas that vote Republican, and then independents like myself normally sit back and hear what the man says and then make a decision regardless of what their gang sign is. So I know you probably didn't want to go too political today, but that is how it
it's
breaks
all
down.
getting cut out. That's a YouTube exclusive.
Yeah, you look at the maps, you look at all the blues and the reds, then and the Democrats are always inner city and educated areas, and then the dumb fucks are all the others. And that's politely as I can put it. And if you're educated and you voted for Donald Trump, shame on you, and your university should be closed down. That's all I got to say.
Well, see all the people who were watching on YouTube.
Oh my God, they all just left.
Exclusives, man.
They all just left. We just lost 24% of the audience because they got pissed over what I said. Oh my God, what am I going to do? 13 years of pissing people off, and I'm still making money. So
there you
whatever. I'll be all right. I got the other 76% of you to entertain, so I'll be fine. And trust me, I lose people every day. I noticed that for every one I lose on Twitter, I gain 10. So every Republican that goes away, I get 10 more. So really, it actually works out because the more I lose, the more I gain that day for the most part. Oh my God, because the minute I say something, you'll say, oh, down, there'll be 2 or 3 leave. And then the next thing you know, there's 30 to take their place. So that's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. Get over it.
So long story short.
No, long story longer.
We're going to stay with the Russo Brand Network.
You're not even there yet.
What's that?
You're not even there yet. You haven't done your first show. It's not we till you've logged. Let's make it like a baseball game. You know, in a baseball game where you got to play 5 innings for it to be a complete game. Let's say you got to do 39 minutes on air that you're not fired.
Okay.
Or that you quit. And then you've done an official show. It's an official show at the 39-minute mark. After that, we'll play till it rains.
We've actually done 1 or 2 Bolin Alleys on the We Don't Have Cookies podcast by accident. So I think I'll be all right.
I think whatever. Bolin Alley by accident, to be honest with you. We've never done a show that was directed the way you wanted it to go. Never.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, they have all been bowling alleys. Even the ones I didn't know I did until 2 hours later.
I do want to say that we've been doing this. You've been coming on my podcast for years now.
Isn't it?
It's been a long time.
I mean, you're really giving Harry Barnett a run for his money as far as a host that I have not fired, quit, refused to do their show, blocked them, that have remained in good contentions with. You and Harry were about. Yeah, it's about you and Harry. That's about it. Well, me and Dickin are still cool. And he's going to be on that reunion show that we do whenever Harry remembers that we're supposed to do one. But I'd forgot to. I mean, though Maya says, when you going to do that reunion show with Harry? I was, that ain't till the 17th. She says, Kenny, today is the 17th. Oh, shit. Yeah. Let me let Harry know. Maybe we can move this thing. I'm not really in the mood to do a show tonight. Not that show anyway. So I write Harry, and Harry's asleep. And he says, oh, well, I forgot we do that show too. I said, you're the one that wanted to do it and I'm supposedly promoting it. I said, if you promoted it big time, we'll do the show. And if you didn't, let's fuck it and we'll do it in a couple of weeks or so. I've told a couple of people, as well, it sounds like he's really out there promoting the show, asshole. So we'll do it in a couple of weeks. So that's what we're doing.
Well, I was going to say,
you will be running Command Central that night. You're the new man that now knows how to do Google Hangout and how to record it and all that. You'll be Command Central that night. Harry will be the primary host, being as he is the longest reigning host of all time, technically. And Rob Dickin will appear. We invited, who was my first ever host? What was his name?
Joe Cronin.
From Who's Slamming Who?
Man, I forget.
I think Harry invited
talking about though.
Harry invited him. I'm forgetting his name because I'm old, but Harry invited him. And he wrote back and said, well, I'm so swamped I hardly have time for myself, but get me a time date. Well, that got him off the show because if you're so goddamn busy, and you're so wrapped up in your little life that you don't know if you can squeeze in 15 or 20 minutes to appear on the Kenny Bolin 14th season reunion show of all my hosts, well, not all of them, but some of them, then just find something else to do. Tommy Fierro, that's his name.
Oh,
Tommy
I was thinking of somebody totally different.
Yeah, and Tommy was the first ever host. He wasn't really technically the host of the Bolin Alley, but occasionally he would host it. Mainly me and Prince did our own shows, and then he would put them up. But Jim Cornette, who was not capable of doing anything on his own related to a phone call or a podcast, had to have Tommy be his host. So he was Jimmy's host for all his shows because Jimmy was helpless when it comes to doing this shit. Well, I mean,
wasn't that back in the day where you guys just called into a voicemail box or something?
That's what it was.
Okay.
Those were the first ever podcast, and we ran everybody off that show because we badmouthed everybody that we didn't like. Jerry Jarrett came on the show because of me. He listened to me and said that I was the essence of professional wrestling, and he could never tell when I was working or shooting. Well, that's what wrestling is when you can't tell. So Jarrett knew me, but he didn't know me because he hired Cornette, and he couldn't have fathomed why Jimmy never introduced me to him. Well, that's clear now. You think he hates Russo over losing jobs? Imagine how he'd have been if he'd had to compete with me for every job. And I ain't saying I'm better than Cornette, but what's my opinion against millions of others? And the dogs agree. They're back in agreement. They totally agree with me.
I was going to bring this up earlier.
What's that?
I wanted you to do a martial law episode with you and Jim Cornette where you were going to fight about the dumpster fish.
Well, you're fucked there then again.
Yeah.
That
then I was going to have you
yesterday.
Well, then I was going to have you come on martial law and do an episode between you and Vince Russo about blocking veto. And then next thing you know, you and Vince Russo stopped being friends for a second.
Yeah.
Well, had that little tip, and I thought,
I stopped being friends because I was just taking the high road and was going to make everybody's decisions and jobs easier over there. He claims there never was a problem with me. And Vince has told me that the closeness of me and Vito is somewhat exaggerated. We've known each other for 25 years, but me and Vito are not what you and Cornette are. He says, you and Cornette were basically side by side bosom buddies for 41 years. He said, that's not what me and Vito were. He says that he overly trashed you on social media solely to get attention. He loved the attention he was getting, being as it was good or bad, and it was mainly bad. And I did what I normally do with people that are minuscule and mean nothing to me. And I just went to the point where I just totally ignored him for like 3 or 4 weeks. And then Chris told me, and he says, Dad, he dedicates his day to you every day. His Twitter page for days and days and days is nothing but bashing you. And I said, but yet funny, I don't know anything about it. I said, my fans don't seem to give a shit. I don't give a shit. I blocked him. I blocked his wife. I don't have anything to do with him. I block anyone who supports him, all 12 of them. And that's how many it was. And so he meant nothing to me. But then I was told of the shit he'd been saying. And I said, so I just took a couple of last parting shots at him, knocked him out. Vince was sick of it, told him that he had gone too far. And that's when we both got taken off the review show because I refused to work with him. And so I never dreamed that it would be both of us. I thought Vince would pick one because Vito was doing 2 or 3 shows with Russo anyway. And I noticed that Vito wasn't doing anything to help the numbers on those shows because I noticed my numbers were always dramatically, just embarrassingly higher than his. And I couldn't figure out, well, if the numbers are that much higher when I do shows as opposed to when he does them, why have I not been picked? But Vince decided to do away with both of us. So I figured he was sick of both of us, or at least me, and that he would do away with us. And then I would be done. And regardless of the numbers, I would be faded out of the brand because I'm the Southerner and I'm going to pick friends and family over my new friendship with Bolin over the last 2 years. And I wasn't going to let him do that. I was just going to quit and say, hey, you're all a family network. You all believe in kissing each other's ass. I don't do that. So you all just stick together. I'm not going to ask you all to pick them over me or him over me. So I'm just going to move along. I was fine before I got here. I'll be fine after. I do admit that you all did good for my numbers, but I came into an entirely new market and I was something different for your audience. Well, then all of a sudden the numbers came out and it was reported that they were dramatically higher with me on the shows. I won't give the number. You know the number personally, but they say it embarrasses people when you say how high the ratings got with me on the show. So we'll just leave it at that. But it's dramatic. And then all of a sudden it wasn't such a good idea for me to go away. And Vince made it very clear that I was wanted to be on the show. And then he offered me my own podcast, one show, to where Bucket Full of Chicken Necks, I think used to be him and Vito. I don't know if Vito was on him or not. I'd heard he was. But then he was not only taken off the Raw Review show, he was taken off that. Vince did him on his own for a little bit. And now I do the podcast, one show every week called Bucket Full of Chicken Necks, which is basically a title that Vince loves due to Yokozuna. I want to kill them all, and, including Maya. And it's basically a show about current events, a little bit of politics, TMZ related stuff, television, movies, just things that are happening on television. And Vince and I give our opinions on what we think about those shows and things that are going on. And I've loved the first two I've done, though. The third one, airs tomorrow. Me and Maya did the second one. I did the first one on my own. And Maya got great reviews on the show as well, as you knew she would. And she added a whole different little spin to it. And that's where the tag "Dumb It Down Doodle" came from, is that we decided she was way too smart for us. And we're going to have to limit her appearances on the show, or else there's no reason for us to be on it, and she'll have to have her own show. So that's the kind of how everything worked out, and I'd agreed to stay. I was going to take the Bolin Alley elsewhere. I'd had two other pretty good offers, plus me and you had talked about doing it on our own. And then I said, well, shit, if I'm going to do it, then Marshall comes with me. Well, I was told I couldn't pick my own host. That's what Jeff Lane told me. Can't do that. Vince Russo picks the host, his show. I said, well, no, it's my show on his network, and I will pick the host. And that power play worked, and Vince didn't care. I think Jeff was trying to make a bit of a preemptive strike, but Jeff seemed to care a lot more than Vince did. But I think the thumb, Mark Cuban talked about the thumb, and that's where WWE likes to keep their thumb on everybody and just let them know what their net worth value is and what your place is here. And they tried putting the thumb on me, but they'd never put the thumb on anybody the size of me or the size of my mouth, and the thumb didn't work. So
there's not a thumb big enough in the world.
Ain't no thumb that big, not that I've found. So, and I love being there, and I'm happy to be there. But trust me, the day I'm not wanted, I'll gladly leave and go elsewhere. I don't stay where I'm not wanted, as you well know.
Yeah,
I've left a lot of other places a lot quicker that thought they were a big deal. So, but no, there will not be a last place showing up on my show. We won't be seeing him. He lasted 2 weeks. The dumb fuck that wears his hat backwards that thinks he's a big deal, we won't be seeing him because he's a fucking idiot and proves it every day. That's why so many WWE stars have blocked him that used to tolerate him. And he's been caught in countless lies, and he's just a little fucking drunk that stays at home while his wife works, and he won't take care of his kids other than what he begs for on podcasts. Oh, give me $5 if I insult so-and-so. And great idea. I wish I'd thought of it. So have been that. But no, I got no use for those two stupid fucks, so they will not be on the show. So don't expect every host that was ever. You have to do at least 6 shows to qualify to be on the show. And if Jeff Lane wants to be on it, he's welcome. Even though I heard he wasn't too thrilled with me on the show. I've heard that from some people. And if he does not, then that's fine too. Whatever Jeff wants to do, he's got to put the shows together. So.
What I was going to say,
have to put up with me for a little while anyway.
What I was going to say is, it seems like every time I have something in place for you to come on an episode of Martial Law, you always end up just having a falling out with the person. So I am never booking you for that show ever again. I think there's a curse on it.
By the way, have I ever mentioned how bad I hate Dan Severin? What an ass. If I could ever just get him alone in an alley somewhere and just put my thumb on him, let him know who he is and what his value is.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up real quick.
No, I actually like Dan. Dan is
a nice guy.
Bellied backed me 3 times, and he said all 3 times I took it better than the so-called professionals that were also supposed to be taking them. And I didn't know what I was doing. I just did what Dan told me. Who the hell would voluntarily belly to back suplex me other than him? And so he told me what to do, and I did it. And all 3 times he said it was perfect. And then the so-called trained professionals who do wrestling every day and go to wrestling class, and even Rip Rogers was bitching about how bad Dan hurt him. Dan said, well, you did it wrong. He said, Bolin did it right. Why can't the rest of you fucks do it right? So he was very complimentary, and I just basically tucked my chin and went where he threw me.
There is one person who really hates Dan, and he's going to be on the podcast next week.
Who's that?
That is UFC Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock.
Shamrock hates Severin that bad? They work with each other.
They hate each other really bad. Dan came on here.
That's a shoot, huh? Well, I think the hatred was in the UFC, but I thought once they got to WWE, you know, we all got to play and get along here, and I figured maybe the hatred subsided.
No, go back and listen.
Shamrock's a good friend. He was very kind to me and Chris. Now, is Shamrock going to be on your show as well?
Yeah. Go back and listen to the Beast is Back episode, and you will hear Dan talk a lot of stuff about Ken.
So who hates
Ken's going to come on and defend himself.
Or Shamrock hates Dan most.
What's that?
Who hates who worst? Severin hates Shamrock worst, or the other way around?
I think it's more Dan than Ken, because the last time I heard, Ken's kind of sick of talking about it.
I could see that, because Shamrock was very sweet to me and Chris. We went about a year without seeing him, and then we go in the back of the Louisville Gardens, and there's Shamrock in the back, and he comes up, hey, Kenny, Chris, how y'all doing? How you been? Oh, my God, you hadn't seen us in over a year. You remember our names? Well, of course I do. And he sat down, talked to Chris. He always put Chris over big and was always very good to him. And Chris was probably only 7, 8, 9 years old then at best. And Chris always remembered that he remembered his name, and he thought that was pretty cool. And Dan Severin, every time he ever met me, he said, who are you again?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I guess that's the level of importance I have. But no, Severin, I met Severin for the first time at a Smoky Mountain show with Jimmy. And I didn't know who he was. I didn't follow MMA or whatever it was called back then. And my brother went with me for the first time ever to Barberville, Kentucky for the show, because I was always the permanent ring announcer there. And normally got worked into the angles one way or the other, and was backstage coordinator a little bit. And we're getting ready to leave. And we're trying to get on the road, get out of there, go get something to eat. And he said, he looks up against the wall, and there's Dan Severin and a couple other people up against the wall, but I don't know who any of the people are. Timmy John stops. God damn, man. Is that fucking, that's Dan the Beast Severin. I said, where? And he points, and I'm seeing 3 guys there. And I said, which one? He said, the guy with the mustache. I said, who's he? Holy shit, man. He's one of the most famous MMA fighters there is. I said, what the fuck's he doing here? They don't have real fights down here unless they're on the parking lot after the show. They don't have it shit here. So he goes up and talks to him, and I'm saying, sorry, Dan. I said, I don't really follow your sport. I said, but it's a pleasure to meet you. Oh, yeah, Mr. Bolin. Yeah, I'm a guest of Cornette's here. And I said, you're a guest of Jimmy's? Really? I said, well, why wouldn't he introduce somebody as famous as you to the crowd? And I never understood that, but eventually he ended up in the WWE. But I thought it would have been a hell of a deal to bring him out mid-card or the start of the show. Hey, we got a special guest here, MMA fighter and champion, Dan the Beast Severin. He's here. He's a fan just like you guys, bought a ticket, wants to see the show, just wanted him to come out and say hi to everybody. Why that didn't happen, I'll never know. Good old Cornette booking, I guess. My son has criticized him a lot on that, so I don't know why you would waste that. Because if my brother knew him from fucking the length of the court, 94 feet, then you know that others there knew him as well. So I'll have maybe if I do a show with Severin sometime, why don't we bring him on the Bolin Alley?
There you go. I got his number. I'll see what
you actually got some booking. We'll see what your booking skills are like. But yeah, tell him I'd love to have him on. I've never had him.
Okay. I'll try to get him on there.
I'll also teach him how to do the belly to back if he asks real nice.
Well, that's something I wanted to talk to you about was Jim Cornette. Last I heard, you guys had made up.
You picked a great day. Oh, last you heard we'd made up? Well, you heard right. And as of yesterday, you heard wrong. He's mad at me again. You know what? I'm not even going to say why. Just listen to Russo's show tomorrow. Make me and Russo a bucket full of chicken necks, and then we'll talk about it further on another show. But something happened that I guess maybe I made an error in judgment, but I knew the phone was going to keep ringing. But Jimmy called during the show while I was recording Russo's show, and then we.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and just watch the show, and then we will talk about it on a future Bolin Alley. And
Okay.
I was going to go ahead and spill all the beans here, but I thought Jimmy might call back today, but he didn't. So, what else is new? He gets mad when I talk about him. He gets mad when I talk about him in public. So we'll talk plenty about him in public coming up real soon.
Well, that's a shame because I thought, I know that you won't go on his show because of Brian Lance.
No, I will not go there.
And I know he won't come on your show because of Vince Russo. I thought maybe you guys could do something together on this show because to me, you're the best comedy duo since.
Well, if it's this show, he probably would have done it. Mm-hmm. But anything associated with the Russo brand network, he ain't going to do, regardless if Vince is on it or not. If his name's on it, he ain't going to do it.
Yeah. And that's why I was hoping.
It's a 50. Let's see, I'm 57. Jimmy's 56. Been bitching for 18 years over shit that really, let's face it. If I applied for an application at Long John Silver's and maybe I got 2 restaurant jobs that Jimmy didn't get, are we really going to hold a judge for 18 years over that? Or if me and Jimmy are working in these restaurants together, we can't get along, and then the restaurant has to pick one of us to go and one to stay, and then both restaurant jobs they picked me over him. Is that really worth a grudge for 18, 19 years? I don't see it, guys. I don't see it. And to threaten death, I'll kill you, motherfucker, if I ever see you. You ruined fast food. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. You ruined fish. Fish is never going to be the same again, thanks to you, motherfucker. I'm sorry.
That's why I was hoping you guys could do it here, because I think you're the best comedy duo since Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, or Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum.
That is the first comparison I've heard. I've heard Abbott and Costello. I've heard Babbitt and Moustello. I have heard Laurel and Hardy. I have never heard Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. So that is a new.
Before we wrap this
up, those two, who are they?
Before we wrap this up, who would be Tina Fey and who would be Amy Poehler, and who would be Jonah Hill and who would be Channing Tatum?
Well, I'm the pretty one with brown hair, so I'd be Tina Fey.
Okay.
And then the ugly one with fucked up hair would be Amy Poehler. No offense, Amy.
What about you?
I guess Jimmy would be Amy. Yeah. Ugly
what
one.
About the two of you and Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum? Which is which?
Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum. Yeah. I guess
21 Jump Street.
I guess out of default, I would be the fat guy. So, but Jimmy sure as hell ain't the other guy. So I don't know if that's a good comparison or not. I've had comparisons made to me and John Candy, which used to piss me off before I was anywhere near John Candy's size. And now I've even after losing 150 pounds, I'm bigger than John Candy ever fucking hoped to be. Who dropped dead of a heart attack basically by being hooked on drugs. So don't be fat and hooked on drugs. People ask why I'm still alive. Well, I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I didn't do drugs. Maybe if you fade those 3 things out of your life and just be fat, you got a fighting chance. Because I was told I was going to be dead by the time I hit age 39, and I only weighed 275 then. You'll never see 40. Well, fuck you. I'm staring at 60. So I guess I'm got 20 bonus years. It was Danny Davis that told me I'd never see 40. And I only weighed 275, played basketball every day, baseball when I could, softball when I could. Me and Chris would run around the neighborhood, and then I had the congestive heart failure and really started packing on weight big time after that. I went from 275 to 569 in about 10 years and just never knew why. Never had the money to really go to a doctor or a specialist and find out why I was gaining 35 pounds a year without really noticing. I just noticed clothes didn't fit as much anymore, and then before you knew it, I was where I was at. But it's haven't always been this big, guys. But even at 275, I was told I'd never see 40. So showed their fucking ass, I guess, is all I can tell you. So,
well, before we go,
wish I didn't see 30. So.
Well, before we go, you want to tell everybody where they can hear the Bolin Alley and when it'll be out?
Nah, I'm not concerned about it. They won't believe me anyway. We've been talking about it forever.
That is
Bolin
true.
Alley will now be on the Russo Brand Network. There'll be some banners floating around that my good friend Spencer Green is working on. If he ever learns how to spell Jason's name right, he seems to. Apparently, in Canada, you can't spell Marshall Marshall. It just doesn't work. He's had 9 different spellings of Jason's name, and I even finally sent him a link to Jason's Facebook account. I said, "Here, this is how you spell it." And I'll be goddamn if he doesn't make another one that says Marshall. So Jason writes me back all pissed because they're not spelling his name right. Kenny, you hasn't spelled my name right. I said, why don't you get a little big for your pants? Take whatever goddamn spelling they give you, ride that out for 6 months to a year, and then we'll worry about how we spell your goddamn name when somebody cares. So that's where we're at there. So he's promised me he's going to figure us out in the next day or two, and we'll actually have a banner with Jason's name spelled right, and then we will proceed to move forward.
That sounds good.
That's all you can do. So yeah, that and my merchandise. If you want any of my merchandise, my hats, my book, I probably screwed you too. The hoodies, the shirts, the calendar magnets that we showed earlier that probably won't air. We'll show them again. The Bolin. Oh fuck! Sorry about that. The camera's normally there. I'm trying to show it to a camera that's not there. It's because that's normally 99% of the time where the camera is. So we will come over here. There it is. There's the camera. You can tell I work in a newsroom, and might help if we hold it from the bottom where you can actually see the goddamn logos. But most people that buy, say, $40-$50 worth of stuff, I'll throw them in a free. I was going to sell those for $5 each, but there would be some assholes that would just order the calendar magnet just to have stuff with the logo with my address on an envelope. So if you buy $40-$50 worth of stuff, we'll throw you one of those in for free, and you don't even have to pay for it. But if you're a struggling young comedian, don't have the money for a webcam. How many years I've known you? 5 years it took you to get a goddamn webcam. And the only reason you got one because you knew you could get on the brand network. Yeah. What an ass.
Right.
5 years. I offered to send you one for free.
I've been saving up.
Well, you didn't have to save. I offered to send you one for free. Why don't you buy some Beats or something, and I'll send you a free $70 webcam.
I don't have that much jukebox money.
Well, we'll talk about jukebox money on another show. That comes up about every day, by the way. Is where did the term jukebox money come from? We will explain that on a maybe even the next show. But we'll see. I'm just admiring how neat and organized your living room is. Mine will never look that good. 2 dogs and 2 kids that invade me every day and being fat and not giving a shit. My living room will never look that good again.
And by the way,
I'm thinking about ordering a new rug one day.
If you're listening to this on the podcast, we're doing this live on Facebook. So if you subscribe to me on Facebook,
is it really?
No, I'm sorry. If you're listening to this on the podcast, we're going live on YouTube. We're not live on Facebook. It's live on YouTube, so you can subscribe there. And yeah.
Well, how do we know that? How do we get feedback from that? How does anybody watch it?
Well, we got a few.
I didn't know we could do that.
Yeah, we got a few people watching right now.
Really?
When we do the Bolin Alley.
It would have been nice if you'd have told me. I'd say hi to the YouTubers, the little YouTubers, some of my favorite people. They're the ones that helped me demolish Big V Slow. When he was getting like 15 views a show and I was getting 3, 4, 5,000, whatever.
And while you're talking about acknowledging
thousands in some cases,
I do want to say thank you to them for checking out the show tonight.
Yeah.
But if you're listening to this on the podcast,
about an hour ago, I didn't know. God damn. You think
they got a lot of exclusives tonight?
What's that?
They got a lot of exclusives tonight. There's certain portions of this that we're going to have cut out, and they got to hear it all.
Yeah, they're probably writing Cornette as we speak. About him. So, because he hates to hear his name in public. Get over it.
I don't know how you can be on
like publicity.
I don't know how you can be on TV for 30 years but not like to be brought up in public. That's kind of odd.
I don't. Well, he likes it. Come on.
Not that I want to start
Likes to
anything.
act like you don't like it. It's like when Dave Brown got to do his first solo interview with Jerry Lawler, and he says, "Here you are, as a man to get into television and get to interview big stars, and here you are doing it, and you act like you don't like it. Come on, Dave." And that's exactly what Jerry Lawler said to Dave Brown in the mid to early in the mid 70s. We'll say I won't pin it down to a year, but that's what Jerry Lawler once said to Dave Brown, and I used to steal that every time I'd be interviewed by a new podcast host. Here you are, getting the podcast business to interview big stars, and here you are doing it, and you're sitting there acting like you don't like it. Come on, and then whatever his name was. Probably did it to you. I just don't remember.
Well, guys, I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, I'll be joined by somebody, or maybe not. We're all going to find out together. I'll talk to you in a minute.
I said good day.
This is the lights out section for YouTube. We'll go however long you feel like going.
For me and you?
Yeah.
No, okay.
And there's people watching too. We got a few viewers.
I had no clue we were doing YouTube Live. I don't know how to do that.
You know, I didn't even share it. So they must be people who subscribe to the channel. So I want to say thank you to them for that.
Yeah. Well, feel free to share it. Lights out.
Yeah. If you can share it, go ahead and share it out there. I'm not sure how to do it. I'm new to this. So,
I mean, I guess we'll have a link, I guess, eventually. Well, send me a link to it and I'll post it on Twitter and YouTube. Okay. But I don't know how to do YouTube Live. I don't know. I can do Facebook Live, but I don't know how to do YouTube. Can you do both at the same time?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how. I'm sure it's probably the same as I just go over and click on Facebook and hit go live, and it would just use the same.
But normally, when you're using the camera to record one thing, you can't use it to record the other. Like if I'm using my camera to record still shots, I can't do a video post. Yeah, like it'll say your camera is now occupied. Well, I have to go to Cheese and turn that off before I can actually do the podcast. It won't let me use the camera for multiple sources. All right, are we in a commercial or are we still live?
No, we're still live. I'm going to quit looking for how to share it. If anybody wants to share it, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, if you're out there and you want to share it, you share it, because he don't know how to share, and I'm not the sharing type. So
I know how to share before I go live. I just don't know how to share once I go live.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that either. So I guess that's up to the folks. But
yeah.
So we'll do a quick lights out section here. Let's see how many people are watching. We will take 5 questions from whoever's watching on YouTube. And can they type? Can they ask questions?
You know, I don't know if they can.
You don't know they can do that. Well,
I mean, there's a chat, but I think it's between me and you.
Between me and you. Well, I know what the questions would be, and I'm not going to answer any of those. So, so much for the questions idea, folks. And so they can't really leave comments or anything, I guess, or can they?
No.
Not until after, I guess, we post it. Well. So it's like there are a bunch of fucking peeping Toms out there. They can't say anything, can't do anything. Well, I know what some of them are doing. Quit doing that.
That was just during the Maya section.
That was during the Maya section. I have no doubt about that.
I have to look at the analytics. I bet we get a spike right around here.
I wouldn't doubt it. The analytics, like, you know what that means. So, but yeah, I guess we've done all the damage we can do here for today. There's no need for a lights out segment. Yeah, we'll save those for Bolin Alleys. And I'm going to get back to turning my big screen on and watching something on it. I tried to watch Raw. It took me through, what is today, Thursday?
Yeah.
It took me 4 days to watch Raw. The first hour and 6 minutes, I'd already declared it the worst goddamn wrestling show I'd ever seen in my life. The least interested I'd ever seen fans in the South be in a wrestling match. And finally watched the end of it today and went, holy shit, that was fucking horrible. And no jealousy, folks, no jealousy. I got nothing to be jealous of. I've been gone from that environment for a long time. That was just bad acting, bad fucking television, bad writing, bad all the way around. I blame everybody. Normally, I just blame the writers because they're given the talent shit to do. But normally, if you give me or anyone with any talent whatsoever shit, we'll shine it up and shine that turd and get something out of it. That didn't happen on this show. This did not happen. There were no turd shiners on this episode of Raw. None.
I like the Braun Strowman stuff. But the thing I didn't like was the security guards, because every single one of them, you could be too deep, and the guy back there was holding his arm out like this, and I thought, man, just
did you just tell me that you liked the Strowman stuff?
I did in the beginning. The one thing I didn't like was Kurt Angle leaves the ring.
I can talk for 4 hours about why I hated everything about that Strowman thing.
Well, I just remember the first few because I kind of just had it on the background.
What was the line of the night on Raw? Let's see if you're in tune with me and Russo, because me and the minute I told Russo, I said, "Did you hear the stupid fucking line of the night?" And then Russo quoted it to me word for word. What was the stupid fucking line of the night? What did somebody say that they had no fucking business saying or even knowing?
I probably didn't watch it close enough to know.
Okay, well, I did. Unfortunately, I did. The stupid fucking line of the night is when they're in a room. Strowman had gone in there and destroyed the office and broke the fake television, and that had the beautiful Raw logo on it. I don't know why you put a TV in a room to have a Raw logo on it. You think they'd be watching the show? No, they just have these breakaway televisions that have the fucking Raw logo on it. Idiots.
You know what? I'm going to do this show, and in the background, I'm going to have a TV. Well, you do a show with the TV with your logo.
Well, mine's a real television, and the picture moves. And I have my rolling graphics. I have my rolling graphics.
Doing that, though.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to put it back over your head on that wall to where I see one off to the side, but ain't no one going to see that.
No, so I got another one over here on the corner of my desk. It's about a 32-inch.
So you're going to have to put one of them. You can set it on that table there and have rolling graphics on it.
Yeah, that's what I thought about doing. I'm thinking about building somewhat of a set. I showed you a picture of something I was planning on doing a long time ago.
No, you was going to build that? I thought you was going to like green screen that or something.
Yeah, but I got to.
This is truly the lights out segment
stuff around to make sure it looks that way.
Yeah. How do y'all like the? What do you think of those headphones? That's the Monster Intune Bolin Club headphone for only $79.95. Walmart sells their Monster Intunes for like $199. I got a distributor, gets me a great deal on these, and then I logo them up. And of course, the Bolin Club are what I like the best. And of course, the Bolin Club mics, you could use one. And now that you're officially Bolin Club, you may have to do away with that hunk of shit you got stashed on your little $5 stand right there. And upgrade to a $19 stand like I do, and then slap you a $49 microphone on it. Russo has one of these too, but he paid $129 for his. Doesn't even have the beautiful Bolin Club logo on it. And so we got the white version, the black version. You can't have the golden. You can't have that.
Yeah, well, I was assuming that he was going to send me some headphones and a microphone just so we can.
I'm sitting here talking about a mic and everything. People can't see. I'm sitting here putting his microphone over, and nobody can see the goddamn.
Changing that camera angle really messed things up, man.
It's fucked with me, man. I don't know if I can just function in life now that they moved the camera over about 1.5 feet. So the line of the night was Strowman goes in here and destroys the office, and then they said, "Oh, Strowman's heading towards the production trucks." Kurt Angle looks in the camera. "Oh my God, those are worth $12 million."
I didn't see that part.
Why the fuck would you know that off the top of your head? And why would that be your primary concern? There's people in those trucks. There's hired help. None of them can probably fight. I saw the people in the truck. Not, oh my God, that's the lifeblood of our show. He'll kill them all. No, it wasn't that. Oh my God, those trucks are worth $12 million. Like he's going to destroy the whole truck. So they have him go out, and he walks into the truck, and there must be hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of monitors in this thing. I don't know why you need hundreds of flat screen monitors in a truck to monitor a fucking 5-camera wrestling show. I have no clue, but there they are. They're all there, and there's 2 of these trucks. Mm-hmm. One of them ain't enough. There's 2 of them. So he goes out there, he walks in, he scares the shit out of the staff because this big fuck would scare any normal sized human being if he walked in on you.
Yeah.
And so he can do some serious damage. He can start breaking control panels. He can throw some shit through some monitors like he did in the office. But apparently he's now calmed down. He's a rational, reasonable man. And he takes people's notes and throws them around. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
He throws their notes around. That's the worst thing he did in the truck. As he picked up some notepads and he threw them.
Yeah.
Didn't do shit to apple butter while he was in there. So then he goes out, and then people start feeling the truck move. And then he separates. I don't know how he did it, but he did. I don't think me or you could do it if they told us to. Hey, Kenny, go out there and separate the truck from the trailer itself, and you can have it. Well, if they told me that, I'd be fucked. I wouldn't have a truck because I wouldn't know how to do that. But fortunately, Braun Strowman knew how and could do it very quickly. He went out and he separated the truck from the trailer in about 8 seconds, and now he pulls the truck up out of the way because now he's going to flip the truck on its side, which he did this with an ambulance, and I dare anybody to confront him in public and say, "Hey, see that ambulance over there? I'll give you $5 million if you can even get it off the fucking ground." More or less, put it on its side. $5 million if you make both wheels come up off the ground. Guess what, folks? He ain't going to be able to do it because there ain't a fucking human being alive that can lift a goddamn ambulance off its side. So if that wasn't stupid enough back when he did that, now we have turned this into the Bolin Alley. Now they give him an 18 fucking wheeler, and they said, "Well, flip that on its side too. Why not? We know you can't do an ambulance, and now let's give him something you really can't do." And flip an 18-wheeler. So he goes and he tries, and of course, the wheels don't come off the ground, and he gets nowhere. So he gets mad, he walks away, and of course, the security's out there with all their arms out. "Don't do that, bro. Don't do that, bro." And that didn't work for some reason. I don't know why. It didn't work. And then he goes back to the truck, and then they're cutting away to separate angles to get all the expressions of the people watching him flip the truck, including Kurt. And there'll be Kurt like this, and then they'll cut to the truck, and then they'll cut to a side shot and a front shot, and they're trying to show that they don't have a tether over there. What do you call them? There's a name for it that I can't think of, but there's a device that if you hook it into that truck, will pull that truck or any goddamn thing else, will pull it on its side, a pulley of some type.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's called something else, and I can't think of it, but. So they do all this pre-production of all these cutaway camera angles of all these facial expressions, and I'd be goddamn if Braun Strowman doesn't lift that truck and gently lay it on its side.
I think I did see that.
Well, they played it again in a package towards the end of the show. If it wasn't ridiculous enough the first time you saw it, well, we'll do it again and just let you see how stupid this shit was. And then, of course, he gets Michael Cole. And that was the last straw because he's got Michael Cole by the belt and he's picking him around, threatening to do something horrible to him, but he didn't. And a lot of people wished he did. But then, now listen to this shit. They fired him. That's what made him so mad. They fired him. And all that security was out there, but he doesn't touch any of the security. He just gets out of the ring, marches to the back, and now he's going to break a lot of shit. Name me the job you ever had, because I did this twice. Similar to what Strowman did, only I didn't hit people. Twice I was fired from jobs for stupid fucking reasons. And one of them was during a Halloween party. And they got mad because I wouldn't go by the script to sell magazines because they wanted me to say that we are sponsored and funded and we fund the Special Olympics. Well, when I found out that 1.5% of the money that we raised actually went to the Special Olympics, I lost my mind. I said, I'll keep selling the fucking magazines, but I am not going to tell people that we are funding the Special Olympics. I said, that's fucking ridiculous. I said, they're buying yearly subscriptions to Sports Illustrated that cost hundreds of dollars in some, well, not hundreds, but a lot of goddamn money.
Thousands.
And over 100 in most cases. And these people are thinking we're donating like half the money to the goddamn Special Olympics, and we're not. I said, so if I'm not going to tell them exactly what percentage goes to the Special Olympics, which is embarrassing, then I'm not going to say it at all. And I didn't. And they caught me not doing that. Well, you're just selling the magazines and not even mentioning the Special Olympics. I said, and you shouldn't either. I said, it's immoral. You're leading these people to believe that we're giving big money and we're not. I said, it's a fucking joke. So they have a little meeting and they said, well, Kenny Bolin ain't playing ball. Kenny Bolin, you're fired. I said, really? You're going to fire me for having morals and ethics and not fucking over the Special Olympics? And I said, well, all right, we can do that. And I said, but I didn't get to have any of the Halloween party yet. I didn't get to have any cupcakes. I didn't get to have any drinks or punch. So I'm going to enjoy my meal before I leave, if y'all don't mind. And what I did is I took every cupcake I could find, every piece of cake I could find, every soda I could find, and I trashed that fucking place. I was mashing goddamn cupcakes and computer screens, putting them in keypads. I mean, I fucked that place up bad. Knowing that, and I'm in a Chicago White Sox Zubaz outfit because it's dress down day. So I'm very comfortable. About 6'1", 275. Closest thing to my size in there is some fucking nerd that's about 5'5" and about 150. So ain't nobody going to stop me from doing what I'm doing, and no one's even thinking of doing it. And so they're gathering around me, hoping that I will leave. And I just look, I said, if any of you motherfuckers touch me, I will snap you in half. I said, you do not fucking touch me. I said, I'll leave when I'm fucking done. And I was mad because I just thought it was ridiculous for having morals and ethics that I had been asked to leave Dial America. That's what I'll tell you. I'll even tell you who the fuck it was. It was Dial America in 1990. Now, this is just before I ended up at Humana. Because them firing me opened the door for me to go to a bigger corporate bunch of assholes and to work for Humana. And
well, please tell me, after you smashed a cupcake into one of the computer monitors,
it was
you threw
more,
your arms up and you went,
it was every fucking screen they had. I did not do that. I didn't go, oh, sorry, Mike. No, I didn't do that. I just had a smile on my face and basically saying, "Here, you motherfuckers can do anything about this." And so I crashed the whole party.
Those cupcakes cost $1,200.
These cupcakes cost 12 cents each. Because somebody made them. So I ruined every cupcake they had, mashed it in every computer screen they had, every keyboard terminal, and the only keyboard terminals that were exempt in case I liked you. That was maybe 5. Everyone else got fucked. And I just go through and I take their cake and I just slam it and I'm slamming and I'm just fucking this place up. But you know what I didn't expect at the end of that little rampage is for them to huddle up and go, Kenny, you're rehired. You got your job back. Well, you quit destroying cupcakes and messing up computer screens and keyboards. Okay. Can I go back to my desk? That didn't happen.
I just want to slap around the manager first.
I can't remember the manager's name. I think they went and hid because they thought, because the big thing was who was going to come tell me and I was fired. And they sent a girl because none of the men would do it because they thought that was going to be the end of it. And I was in wrestling a little bit then. I mean, I started in 87 and was doing some wrestling shows and a little bit. I don't even think Smoky Mountain had started up yet. So I was kind of on a hiatus from wrestling. So I guess I had some pent up frustration, I guess. Plus, I'd just gone through a divorce. And so it felt good. I'd do it again. I'd do it tomorrow if they fired me. I'm not sorry for it. So, and then I had a similar case at a mortgage company that I'll tell on another show that didn't get as messy and as bad as that, but I did try to do something real stupid only because the police told me I could, because the police were called on me. Wow. But it all worked out. And so remind me to tell you the story about Ambassador Mortgage and how I was fired from there, why I was fired, and what I tried to do on my way out the door. And we'll tell that on another show.
Sounds good.
I think I've given these fucking freeloaders enough.
Yeah, that concludes the lights out segment of the broadcast. And
I've never told that story on the air anywhere that I know of. I don't.
Oh yeah.
Told that story, so we got an exclusive here. But I'll tell it again on the Bolin Alley and act like I've never told it before. And you act surprised when I do.
I will,
because we know nobody saw this. There's like four guys wondering, what the fuck's this? why is this on?
Hey, real quick, is Russo going to be on the show that day for the first episode?
I've asked him to, and I think we can probably get him on as long as he's not scheduled to do anything else. But
I just saw him on the banner, and I wasn't sure if he was going to do it or not.
Yeah. Well, I'm backing away from calling it the Bolin Alley because he's not on it enough to call it the Bolin Alley. If he's on every week, then I'd be more than happy to share his name with him. So we'll call it the Bolin Alley when he's on. How's that?
Okay.
But he will do some shows with us, and I have asked him to do the first one to kind of introduce you to his market and his brand.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I think that's it. You want to say anything before we go? Even though I think we have 3 times.
Bye.
Where's your trademark, man? I threw it to you. That was a softball.
I said good day. I'm tired.